And just like that, everyone, we are back here for you on Live Now from Fox, always worldwide for you. I'm your host, Mike Page. Thanks again for joining us on this Saturday evening edition. A live look right now at New York City, where early voting has started for the all-important mayoral race that is quickly heating up and, of course, getting closer to November for the big election day. I want to show you the latest updates from Fox News' CB Cotton with a breakdown.
Today, I cast my vote for myself and the Republican line, straight down the line.
After resisting calls to drop out, Republican Curtis Sliwa became the first candidate to cast his ballot in the closely watched New York City mayor's race. It comes as other candidates, Democrat Zohran Mamdani and independent former Governor Andrew Cuomo, urged New Yorkers to get out and vote. Cuomo also working hard to chip away at Mamdani's lead.
He claims that he is the victim of attacks because he is a Muslim. Nothing could be further of the truth. He is not a victim. He is the offender.
Virginia's gubernatorial candidates were also out rallying voters. Already, more than 750,000 people have cast their ballot, according to data from the Virginia Public Access Project. Republican Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl-Sears tried to reach undecided voters this morning, as polls show her trailing her Democratic rival, former Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger.
They don't have the right ideas that will keep Virginia moving forward.
Meanwhile, over in the Garden State, where the DOJ is preparing to send election observers at the request of state Republicans, well, gubernatorial GOP candidate Jack Ciattarelli slammed his rival, Democrat Mikey Sherrill.
She doesn't have a clue about running the state of New Jersey, I'll tell you that.
The DOJ is also sending poll watchers to parts of California, which is holding early voting over a ballot proposition on congressional redistricting. In New York, CB Cotton, Fox News.
All right, CB, thank you so much for that update. We appreciate it right here on Live Now from Fox. We do want to play out, we did roll on a little bit earlier today. Mamdani talking to reporters, talking to people in New York City, right outside of a small business. Let's listen in on Live Now.
Voters, of which I've already met a number, is that this is our opportunity. It continues to be. One, to make the most expensive city in the United States of America affordable. And it's been so exciting to meet so many New Yorkers who've already done so, casting their vote for the only campaign that actually has a vision for the future of what the city could be, not just redirecting ourselves to thinking only of the past.
New York won?
Cuomo said New York is not against phobia with jihadists and all this kind of stuff. How do you feel about that?
Andrew Cuomo is allergic to apologizing, to reflecting, to understanding what it means to actually be a public servant. It took myself, the first major Muslim candidate for mayor, beating him in the Democratic primary by 13 points for him to set foot in a mosque for the first time in more than 10 years.
That's right.
And he views Muslims more as props than he does people in this city that he is supposed to serve, just like any other person in this city that is a New Yorker. And so while he has chosen to make his closing argument to New Yorkers that of division and bigotry, ours will continue to be on the fact that every New Yorker, no matter their faith, no matter where they were born, no matter who they are, deserves a city that they can afford, and a place that they will be safe and able to build a family and a life. Because if New Yorkers wanted division and hate, bigotry, they can already find it in Donald Trump. They don't need it in the next mayor of this city, and that's why we'll be turning the page on Andrew Cuomo and that very bigotry on November 4th.
Mr. Mamdani, I'm a reporter from Canada, Mr. Mamdani.
So a concern that a lot of small business... popular guy. A concern that a lot of small business owners have had is about the rising cost of rent on them in particular. I've heard stories of businesses having their rents raised double, triple, quadruple. What is your plan to address that specifically for commercial real estate?
You know, I want to first thank the elected officials that are around me, who are council members, assembly members, district leaders, who have ensured that when we have spoken about affordability, we've also understood it from the perspective of those who live right here in this neighborhood. And as you've said, this is a concern that's been raised to me by small business owners. They've raised two key things. The first is the impacts of Donald Trump's cruel immigration agenda, one that is targeting not just immigrant New Yorkers, but also the very fabric of life in this city. And I've heard from many small business owners how it is hollowing out the neighborhoods that they live in, and that the very customers that they knew they would see on a daily, weekly, monthly basis are now ones that far more often stay home. Yeah. And the second is that rent and the lack of affordability here in New York City is one that affects not just tenants, residential, but also commercial ones. And so we are going to ensure that in our administration, we explore every single measure we can to understand that stability has to be delivered to all kinds of tenants, not just residential ones. And I think there are examples across the country of different approaches that have been taken that could ensure more stable rents for commercial tenants. What I've also heard from these tenants is that alongside rent, they're also having to deal with a water bill that the city has raised to the highest been in 13 years, as well as a Con Edison bill that this mayoral administration chose to support when Con Edison said they wanted to raise the gas and electric by $65 a month. Yep. These are all different ways in which Mayor Adams has put his thumb on the scale of making this a more expensive city, whether for tenants, whether for homeowners, whether for small business owners.
Thank you, Mr. Mamdani. I'm a reporter from Canada.
Last question.
He admitted that his comments on the radio were offensive. He said that a couple hours ago, and that he didn't take it seriously. But he did say that you're playing the victim and that you are the offender in several communities, including the Church community. Just wanted you to respond to that latest comment.
Mr. Cuomo needed to take a full day's worth of pressure to get to that point. You had to tell me it was breaking news that Andrew Cuomo admitted something he has done was wrong. And that's indicative of the fact that it will always be breaking news when Andrew Cuomo admits something, because it will take all of the pressure in this city to get him to do so. My message is the same message for every New Yorker. It has been from the day that we began. It is a message of dignity and a message that we need to make this a city that everyone can afford. And what you see me surrounded by in this moment is not just New Yorkers who share every aspect of my identity, be it my faith, be it my politics, be it my race, be it where I live. You see New Yorkers who reflect the beauty and the breadth of this city. And that's because we have a message that is unifying this city. And Andrew Cuomo's is one of division. That's how he's chosen to end this campaign. That's the endorsement he's chosen to accept from our current mayor, who is looking to fan those same flames. And that is the very kind of politics New Yorkers want to leave behind.
Right,
what do you hope that the national leaders of the Democratic Party will learn from your campaign? You hope that they keep from your campaign?
I will say, and this is the last question, because then we have to go and actually speak to small business owners themselves, is my aspirations are for this city. And what I hope is to show the work that we will do. You know, I'm standing here alongside city council members, district leaders, assembly members. Two of those assembly members, Monique Chandler Waterman, Rodneyse Bichotte Hermelyn. And when we've sat in assembly conference together, as I am a state legislator, there is one set of words that I recall looking over to Monique and asking about many months ago. It's from the Bible, James 2:14. Faith without works is death. I bring it up because New Yorkers have shown their faith over this last year, faith in a city that could be better than this. Now is the time for works. Now is the time for us to finally join together and deliver on this affordability agenda. That, I hope, will be the lesson for New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs, that life can in fact be more than the scraps they've been told to be satisfied with. It can be the city that they came to when they first came to New York City.
Right,
thank you very much. Thank you guys.
Let's head inside.